Okay, being 7 o'clock, I call the Lisle Library District regular board meeting for September 18th, 2019 to order. Roll call, please.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Here.
Thomas Duffy.
Here.
Thomas Hummel.
Here.
Karen Larson.
Here.
Jenny Norton.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Emily Swistek.
Here.
All right, next item on the agenda is opportunity for visitors to speak. Are there any visitors that would like to speak? Seeing none, we will move on. This month, Secretary Swistek and Trustee Duffy reviewed the August billings, and next month, Vice President Bartelli and Trustee Larson will review the September billings next month. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Any changes or questions, comments? None? All right, roll call, please.
Thomas Duffy.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Jenny Norton.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Emily Swistek.
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye.
Thomas Duffy. Or Thomas Hummel.
Aye. Motion.
Thomases.
I know. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the committee reports. First one is finance. I know.
No surprises?
No surprises.
Okay. So our news is we do have a planned meeting for September 24th at 6 p.m. It will be in the group study room downstairs. And the agenda will be posted accordingly within no later than 48 hours before the meeting. And it'll be sort of the standard items that get discussed along with the annual visit from Ehlers for the investment strategy.
Yep.
All righty.
If anyone has anything particularly special they want to include in that, send me an email.
Okay, next item is, next committee report is personnel and policy.
We had a meeting on I'm going ahead, August 26th. And at that meeting, we continued working on our trustee ethics policy. We began looking at different formats for a director's evaluation, and we talked about prioritization of policies to address in the future. We did not set a date for the next meeting, but we're looking into October, and I'll be discussing with the director times, and you'll get information, those who are in the committee, about when that'll be.
Next item, or next committee report is physical plan.
Well, we have not met since our last meeting, but I'm not sure if now is the time to ask questions about a couple things, or wait till the business. As far as in the minutes, in reading them, we talked about preparing an invitational RFP for the offset pipe project. I assume that's in process, or?
When we get to the
Report.
director's and assistant director's report, we can go there.
I wonder if our committee might see that. I'd like to review it myself. Is that possible? The RFP.
You don't need a meeting, you just wanted to.
No, we don't need a meeting. I'm asking if anyone on the committee would also like it. I would as chair, if that's
Sure,
possible.
I think we went over the points that would go into that, because
Okay.
Jack Hayes provided us at our last physical plant meeting, but if
Okay.
you wanted to see the final product, that's fine. And Beth can talk more about that in the next agenda item.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we do not have a meeting scheduled, but depending on how progress goes, we may.
Okay, then the next item on the agenda is staff reports. Before I ask any questions on the reports, did you want to?
Well, why don't we, if there's
Okay.
questions, and then we can
All right,
supplement.
any questions on the director's report?
I have two questions, actually three, very quick ones. On the kind of the monthly circulation report, the measure that is new library cards added, is that renewed plus new cards or just new?
Just
cards?
just
That's
new,
what I'm making sure.
just new.
And then, I know we had talked briefly about this last meeting, was looking at the cost of, for cleaning of the bathrooms, like another deep clean during the day. So I know that was brought up during, I think, 2 months ago at our policy meeting. I just was hoping to get a status update on that as well.
Beth, do you want to address that in terms of numbers?
Well, as we said last month, it was about $10,000, a little bit less.
A
when
year.
A year when we did the quotes.
So then, so now that we have the quote, what would be the next steps to? I mean, I view it as a public health thing than anything else.
I think the board should talk about it.
So I guess the question is $10,000 a year to provide additional deep cleaning services. Is it once a day?
Why don't you go into that, Beth, since you've spoken with
So-
the vendors?
Sorry if I jumped the
That's
gun
okay.
into the assistant
That's
director.
okay,
report.
It's a combo, it's a combo.
So right now, around 9:30 at night, the cleaning company comes in and it's 2 people and they clean restrooms, vacuum, wipe down surfaces, empty the garbage, do the recycling. I think that's the high points
Vacuum,
of.
yeah, and
Okay.
if there's any outstanding anything, they take care of it.
It's a
Right.
disinfecting of the bathroom.
Right,
so.
yes. So, if we would clean during the day, that would be an extra charge. Now, this cleaning company could do it, or we could get others to do it. There, obviously, there's some travel time involved. You know, if they're just coming for a short job, then
Just the
they,
restrooms and not vacuuming the library
Right.
and things like that.
you have to make it worth their while for anyone who's gonna come and do the work. Plus, then we would have to close the bathrooms during the cleaning process.
Is staff though is monitoring it a little bit more closely?
Yes,
aren't- yeah.
staff walk in and out
Yeah.
interim, and if we hear that there's a issue, we will do the best we can. But
I think the difference, I agree, like, I'm glad that we're addressing the tidiness of it, but if we have, I would say, several hundred people in a day going through our building, and the bathroom is only being cleaned, deep cleaned once, and that's after. So if something happens, say there's a significant event that happens in the morning, there's nothing that's outside of like an emergency clean where if you don't have professionals coming in with that equipment, right? Like, so I guess that's and I think that was the impression of that patron was that.
I think the example is like if you're at the airport, they're not doing a deep clean, they're really wiping down. They're mopping the floor as they can, but they can't do the whole bathroom because they don't close the whole bathroom unless they have to at the airport. If you kind of think of it that way, there's often an attendant in there that just keeps cleaning around the clock, sort of. But
How about some kind of chart, like if you go into other facilities or stores or businesses, you'll see like a chart, you know what I'm talking about, Tom?
Yeah.
Like McDonald's will have it, or
Every grocery store
every
has it,
store
yeah.
has it, a chart with like the time and, you know, that it's checked, that it's cleaned, or, you know, that it.
But they're not
that's a-
cleaning toilets, they're
No,
just
but I know,
picking
but
up
they're
paper
just-
towels or wiping off
Just
the
making
counters.
sure it's
Yeah, I think that,
acceptable.
yeah, I agree. I think there's a difference between tidying, which is that, versus cleaning. I guess that's the only way I can describe it, and I just feel like, you know, that patron I don't think was completely off base related to when she was bringing it up at that subcommittee meeting. And I think that for a lot of people coming through this building and utilizing it, more than one cleaning is probably required to ensure the health and the cleanliness of the facility. I don't know when, but I think that.
If there's like a major, or like something happens in the bathroom, though, you said like this, somebody does clean it up though, right? Like if there's a issue or an incident,
Yeah, we do the best we can.
Okay.
But
So it's not
being a
safe.
public building, there's
No, I understand.
a variety of
Do we have
occasions.
any like signs up in the restrooms that say if this needs to be cleaned up, notify staff or alert staff if something? Because I know sometimes in restaurants you'll see that,
Right.
like, it
You know,
has a
it's-
sign that says if this bathroom is
Needs
cleaning,
cleaning or
contact her.
attendance or whatever.
Most times people do
Okay.
notify staff, but we can put up a sign. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, are you guys still looking at are you still trying to get more
We,
quotes?
when the patron made the inquiry or the suggestion, we took it upon ourselves to reach out to at least 3, including our current vendor. And I think the most affordable was around $10,000 annually, so it would be an additional, do the math, per month. So,
The one thing, actually, I just thought of this, I know sometimes on the Nextdoor website, I know you always sometimes see people offering to clean people's homes or their various services, like, I don't know, maybe if you want somebody to kind of look on Nextdoor and see if there's somebody out there from Lisle, and if, no, I mean, as long as it's a
local cleaning
reasonable
service?
amount.
Like
Huh?
a local cleaning?
what's
Yeah,
a
it might- it might just
what's
be
a reasonable
individual.
amount?
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
I would,
I know, but I just saying.
They would have
yeah.
to be insured to be
Oh,
here.
okay.
And,
bonded.
and again, we did reach out to that variety.
that
Okay.
type of vendor.
Okay.
It's still around the same amount, maybe just under 10, and it was also due to the travel. So part of that is
And was
making
it
it worth
just-
their while to come here and spend maybe a half hour per bath.
Was it just Monday through Friday, or you
Yes.
also include the weekends?
No, just Monday through Friday. Thoughts?
I mean, if staff could keep exploring, I don't know.
I'm hearing 2 opinions only.
I will, I would probably assume that a bathroom that has high foot traffic such as ours, standards of 1 deep clean after a day is probably not the standard practice. I don't know the exact one, I can't quote to fact, but I think to me, and maybe getting a little bit of understanding of what they would offer. I mean, I would like to know, like, are they really gonna get in and disinfect it versus just tidying it? That would be a difference to
Yeah.
me.
Well, Beth can speak to that.
I mean, when I asked, we did not include mopping the floor, but it did include, unless it was sweeping the floor, it was cleaning the toilets.
Wiping down the seats.
Wiping down the sinks, cleaning up any soap that was splattered.
I mean, I would make sure it's as comprehensive as possible. So you also have a lot of kids coming in and out. I think that's another component here, and that, to me, the cost of it, I guess I'll have to say this, the cost of it is minimal to me to ensure that the bathrooms are at a high cleanliness level for patrons throughout the day.
And if it's not mopped during the day, then it's not necessarily getting some stuff
Yeah.
cleaned then.
Yeah.
Yes, for our little patrons. And I think that's all, I mean, that, right there, I mean, there's a difference between tidying up, which occurs like in grocery stores and like with that stuff. They're just going to make sure that, is there a problem that has not been reported and is it look good? But, I mean, I guarantee you those airport bathrooms are getting closed at 1.2 or several times during the day to get a full clean as well.
I mean,
Heard
so
from
far,
2 people.
so is it, so far just with that one patron that's really, I mean, that was at a
That's
public meeting.
verbalized it in
Yeah.
a public meeting?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know if you
Should we
want to.
go around the table and ask
What does
people?
everybody else think? I would just say try to keep shopping, I don't know. Go ahead. And maybe look at the next store website and see if like there's some person that just wants to get, I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm not sure that I should bring this up, but I will ask the question. Is this an issue since we switched vendors?
No. I mean, is it an issue, meaning what?
Well, I mean, I've been on the board a little over 2 years and I haven't heard this brought up. Did this happen after we started with a new vendor?
No, this is,
It was during the day. No, it was during the
I'm certainly
day.
not trying to criticize.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
no, this was something that happened during the day, and our vendors have always been an evening shift vendor. So
Okay,
I can't imagine it's due to switching vendors.
Staff check the bathrooms every morning before we open.
okay.
They're in the
No, I
restrooms
just
and
thought
making
I'd ask
sure
the
that nothing
question.
was missed overnight.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I think it's worth looking into. I mean, again, you know, the cleanliness aspect of it. You know, you don't want patrons coming in and then walking to the bathroom and saying, oh, you know.
I want to believe that all but the tiny patrons would speak up if something was not up to a basic standard. If we really wanted to do more, very easily, a staff person could just come in the middle of the day and give it a quick look over and see if there's anything that has changed materially since the overnight cleaning, without it, you know, incurring additional costs. Not that I'm afraid to incur additional costs, I just don't have an extreme opinion either way. Like, I'm not worried about a public safety issue, and I also wouldn't want us to incur an extreme amount of money to try to, you know, do something much more than we do currently, because it doesn't appear to be a prevalent problem.
Just
Yeah,
keep
I mean,
looking. Liz? Just keep looking, or I need something else?
Well, what I was thinking is, there might be companies that are looking to break into this area, and maybe they do it for homes today, and they'd be willing to give us a reasonable price on the things that we want them to clean.
We did look into the home vendor, a couple of them, and some said no. And the one that said possibly was close to that 9,000-ish range for annual. But we can keep looking if that's the direction.
I think that sounds like the direction.
I mean, the concern that I have is if there is a major issue in there, right? So who is responsible for cleaning that up, right? And as the director said, you know, they do the best that they can, but they're not necessarily trained in cleaning that, right? So, you know, what do we do?
And even like, I think Trustee Duffy said, it depends to what type of service. If it's just the wipe down, it may not be
Right.
worth it, but if it's gonna be more expensive, so.
Yeah.
I guess the direction is just to keep looking, it sounds like.
All right, we'll do that.
Any other, we're on the director's report, right? So any other questions on the director's report?
Don't want to take up too much time, but I was interested to know for the director with respect to the tour of the new elementary school, in addition to what you learned from the actual facility, did you talk at all about collaboration and outreach with, you know, any extension of programs, or, you know, sort of sharing of resources or anything like that?
Sharing of resources, no, but we already work with the schools in terms of programming. But yeah, I know Tom was there.
I crashed it.
Yeah, he crashed it. Beth came too. So it was a wonderful tour. I was really happy that they reached out, and we kind of had a very special tour. But as far as sharing of resources, where are you going?
Just not, you know, with the new facility, with, you know, the newness of it, if there was any other opportunity identified to increase any of what's already currently being done in terms of program and sharing.
Well, we do work with them in terms of, like, we visit them and we work with them every other month practically, right? Every month.
We're there
Yeah.
multiple times a month.
Right. But as far as resources, where are you talking? Are you?
Just looking to see if there's anything different with the move. Nothing different though, or additional.
Well, they have all new equipment, if that's what you're talking about. like they have a completely new STEM or STEAM room. So it was really interesting to see what they had to offer that population. And, you know, it made us, I think about what we could do here or offer here to complement what the students are learning. So, you know, after school shuts down, students come to the library and then they want to do their homework. And we want to make sure that we afford our kids in our community similar equipment so that they can do their work here too, outside of school.
Yeah, I caught wind of it like late, whatever, it was on a Saturday morning, so I caught wind of it from somebody else on a Friday night, and so I kind of just
Well, you're in
showed
the
up.
meadows, so
Yeah, I
you've
showed
got
up. I think I'm gonna come.
good
I'm gonna
I think
come
there's a
down.
community open house
There is
this
one.
area.
it's coming.
I think it's this
The 20th.
I think
weekend.
we all were invited as residents, weren't we?
First,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Is it the 21st?
Yes.
This Saturday, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Late afternoon.
So I would encourage everybody to go. I thought it was interesting. I was kind of tripped out a little bit with no desks.
Yeah, it's very different
It's
from
very-
our
I'm like, oh
old
my God.
situation.
And they had, some of the, just even like the learning center, which is in the middle, their shelves with the books are on wheels.
Right.
So it's very flexible, a lot of the spaces, a lot of stuff you could just move around. Some of the other stuff I found interesting, and actually I think I took pictures of, like they had like electrical outlets in the ceiling and stuff. So I mean, there was like some even like little details that I thought would be interesting, you know, whatever. we
Something to
do
think
here
about.
Or somewhere else, but, yeah, I think it's the 21st, right, is the open house?
It's this Saturday.
Is it? Yeah, so I would, if you guys, I don't know what time it is, but,
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And we
like-
will be
it's later
there,
date?
the library will be there, we'll have a
Oh,
table there.
okay. So, I'm,
There's
I'll probably show up.
kind of a hospitality hour,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then a tour.
And then there's a movie, I think.
Then there's a
Yeah,
movie
There's a movie that's
afterwards.
right at night, yeah. So, yeah, I would encourage everybody to go just to look around.
Just
I
to
mean,
see,
it's a
and
cool
really-
space. I was surprised.
I mean,
Wow.
whatever we do within our own facility, I mean, it's just good for ideas,
Yeah.
generate some ideas for us.
I mean, that's the one takeaway I had for us, was just the idea, like I said, the shelves.
And anything like
rollers.
flooring, in the restrooms, there's textured flooring and just looking at
The
doors and
bathrooms.
locks, yes.
The barn door.
They had the
bathrooms.
family-sized restrooms when you first
Yeah.
walk in, so it's a good opportunity, it's
Yeah,
right next door.
Each room had HVAC controls.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
interesting.
so. Any other questions on the director's report before we move to the assistant director's report? Did you want to talk about the two financials?
The financials. I just wanted to mention that the September board packet included the investment activity report, the current assets report, the accounts payable by vendor and account distribution by number, and then the prior month's bills paid. And so as of tonight, we're still working with Sikich because we're still combing through the financials and working through the system, and they're learning it. But as of 5 p.m. tonight, we do have the revenue and expense reports, and then next week, I spoke with the president about this, we can formally acknowledge the revenue and expense reports. So I have copies of that if you just want to take these home. And again, we're not acknowledging these tonight, but that's just for your information. And then in October, we'll have both the September and October treasurer's report, because we're still combing through there. There were some loose ends and some access challenges, but overall, I would say that the organizational culture in the admin office is in a state of positive transition, very professional level, and I'm happy to report that our administrative office coordinator, Jackie, is doing really well. She's excelling in her new role. She's providing more financial documentation. She's taking on some more HR tasks, and she's also participating in more training. And we're also utilizing HR Source. We are a member. They used to be called the Management Association. So that membership affords us a lot of training. So Jackie's taking that on. And then Sikich has really stepped up with providing us with information and helping us, again, comb through the financials and the documentation. So we anticipate a more normal board packet in October. And I just want to mention that the Jackie-Sikich relationship seems to be an effective solution for us thus far, and they've been working together very well, and I have high hopes that this partnership with the outsourced firm will prove it very well. I'm really pleased with the arrangement. I know those, Debbie Crabtree, who's the representative from Sickich, she's really pleased with the arrangement, and Jackie is too, so, and so am I. So really looking forward to seeing what October brings. And I just want to make a note that October may still look a little different, and eventually we'll hone and streamline some of the reports we provide the board, and hopefully they're a little more user-friendly and maybe get rid of some redundancies. And so, anyway, just positive vibes coming from this relationship.
Did you want to introduce that?
Oh, and we have our intern sitting on our peanut gallery, Allison. She's about halfway through her practicum with us, and so she's just sitting and seeing what you all talk about at board meetings and taking some notes. So, welcome.
All right, next up, 6B, Assistant Director's Report. Any questions on the Assistant Director's Report? I'll start. I have one quick one. And the atrium windows. So that the leak's getting worse, it sounds like, or just
It's an
kind of
intermittent
occurs?
thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems like it's the way the wind blows the rain.
Okay.
And they looked at it, and where the slant glass meets the up and down glass, there's a rail that is supposed to run the water away, and if that gets clogged and the water has nowhere to go, it will seep in. So.
And I know that we've done some like outside sealing or internal sealing, and just that's not doing the trick. So they need to remove the pane of glass to squeeze the sealant inside that, I don't know what to call it, rail.
Yeah.
They'll clean the rail and then they'll put the sealant in.
Yeah, so that should do the trick.
And the cost, you don't know how much roughly?
Did they give you a range?
I think it was approximately $2,700 for one day's
Oh,
work.
that's all.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions on the Assistant Director's Report?
The
Sure.
environmental initiatives, ComEd, can you talk a little bit more about that?
We, they came in and toured the facility, they counted the lights that we have. They were happy to see where we have the LED lights and that they're outside. They looked at the HVAC system and looked at the, that we do have the control system, so that the, overnight, the temperature drops back depending on the season, so that the heat or air conditioning isn't in use unless it has to be at a, so we have setback temperatures for overnight. So they were happy to see that. I'm trying to think what else. So it's basically, they're looking at energy use and ideas of what we could do. But again, they're looking at big ticket things like air conditioners, the big units outside.
And we should get a report soon.
We will be
right?
getting a report by the end of September.
Okay.
Can that report be made, can we see that at our next board meeting?
Probably, I have to see what it looks like
Oh, yeah,
first to
yeah.
see if it's understandable.
I'm sure we can.
Okay, great.
Any other questions for the Assistant Director? No. All right, then moving on. Next item is unfinished business. There isn't any. The next item is 8A, adopt ordinance 19-03 budget appropriation. Does somebody like to make a motion on that?
I make a motion to approve or adopt, whichever word is right.
Adopt.
Adopt
Yes.
ordinance 19-03 budget and appropriation.
Second.
All right. Any discussion or questions? This is for the V&A.
Just a statement, this was discussed and previewed in draft at the last meeting, and I know of no
Nothing's
changes.
No, correct.
And then I know I asked you too, so just for in case people are looking on this third line item, this comp site assistance plan, you just want to explain what the appropriate amount is?
Yeah, we
did
did talk about that last time.
Yeah.
That's part of our, it's Lyra or Limerick?
Limerick.
Okay, our Limerick membership, and the more people who participate in it, our costs go down. So when we approved the budget, we budgeted the budgeted amount, but we recently found that because there were more people in the pool, the actual membership went down. So that's why we're appropriating that amount.
Okay. 'Cause I know somebody might look at this and say it looks funny, but just,
It's
Yep.
accurate.
yep.
I think I already know the answer to this, but with the HVAC stuff that we're doing, I know we kind of did after when we had this discussion. I think we built that in here, right?
It's in special reserve.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Facility and campus.
Yes, exactly.
I was trying to flip through the pages quick enough to get. Oh.
Anybody else with a question or comment? Yeah,
Nope, nothing's changed.
all right, we'll have a roll call.
Karen Larson,
Aye.
Jenny Norton,
Hi.
Liz Sullivan,
Aye.
Emily Swistek,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli,
Aye.
Thomas Duffy,
Aye.
Thomas Hummel.
Aye. Motion passes. Next item is 8B, and that is to approve certificate of estimated revenue. Can I have a motion, please?
I move to approve certificate of estimated revenue.
Is there a second?
Second. Nope. Give it to Karen.
Give it to Karen. All right, any questions or comments on this?
I can just
Oh,
mention
yeah, go
that we file this with DuPage County Clerk's Office every year. Most of the numbers come from our approved working budget, so those are already approved, and then the estimates are based on prior years. And then the other calculations come straight from DuPage County final tax extension, and the finance director received those estimates in May. So that's what makes this document.
Any questions, comments? If not, we will roll call, please.
Jenny Norton,
Hi.
Liz Sullivan,
Aye.
Emily Swistek,
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli,
Aye.
Thomas Duffy,
Aye.
Karen Larson,
Aye.
Thomas Hummel.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, next item on the agenda is preliminary discussion for a special meeting on September 26, 2019, in regards to strategic plan facility options. I will turn it over to the director.
Okay, so this is just a prompt for us to prepare ourselves for the meeting on the 26th. And I spoke with our owner's rep about how to start talking about this. And he provided a couple of things, and so I'll pass something out in a moment, but, and I talked with the president about this earlier today. So what I'd like, or what he would like everybody to have in mind, and Chris, do you want to pass out? You all have these documents. It's the strategic plan and the facility assessment kind of charts. This is not for us to go into deep today, but it's just to remind you to take a deeper look at this before next week. So our owner's rep wants you to start thinking about the top priorities in Appendix A. So we've already identified in the strategic plan our facility objectives and then listed out Appendix A. But he would like you to think about Appendix A in a kind of a priority fashion. So that's number one. Number two is, besides Appendix A, they are asking, are there any other priorities in the plan that involve capital projects? So is there something in the organizational culture category that would warrant a capital project? Number three, he's asking you to think about current pain points, and that's in quotes, that's his quotes, current pain points within our existing building. Number 4, are there any additional areas needed within the library, like physical spaces outside of what we currently have? And is there any specific functions or services that you have envision for the library in the future? And then lastly, if we are remaining in our current facility, does the 10-year FQC assessment reflect your vision, your particular vision? Do you see that 10-year, like the topographic recommendation, some of the other things he mentioned, repaving the parking lot and all of the other 10-year plan, is that your vision? Is that a priority for you? So I know you're taking notes, but I also made a little copy of his questions. The other thing I would encourage, and what he encouraged, was to walk the building up and down. I know we've done our tours, but also in the next week or so, I'd encourage you to do it again. And if you want to go behind the scenes, please connect with me, and I'd be happy, or Beth, and I'd be happy to walk you behind the scenes, but please connect with me or Beth so that we can afford you that tour. And then also, if you have time, visit another library or go to the elementary school so you can see some more innovative options out there. If you don't have the time to visit another library or haven't, I would encourage you to go online and take a look. There's plenty of, everybody's on Instagram, everybody's got a Flickr page, so I would encourage you to do that before our meeting next week. And so that's my piece of this. If you want to open it up for discussion or start talking about some topics now, we can do that, or just take your homework and we'll come back next week.
So in regards to these questions, that you have the 5 questions here, I know it looks like the first 4, especially 1, 2, and 4, but even 3 could involve either the existing building or a downtown option. The last one is pretty much just exclusive to the existing property. So we got to kind of keep that in mind, and he is going to give us the 2 options. Or
Eventually. Yeah. I think we were talking about the agenda, and we will have an agenda. I think loosely, he will be introducing the company to all of you, and you can ask him questions about what they do, and then provide an overview of a project, a defined project for our current facility, as well as an option for the downtown. And then what I know he wants to do is tailor the options for a downtown or a current facility to our strategic plan, and then talk about future functionality, whether it's here or downtown. I also know that at this upcoming meeting, he will provide a very general overview of funding options. So looking at our special reserve, looking at our operational reserves, and kind of talking about what options we have should we want a larger capital project in terms of financial options, funding options. And then we'll talk about our next steps after that.
Okay. Well, a couple ideas I had, and these are, we don't have to decide this tonight by any means, but like some of the ideas I personally, I don't know what everybody else thinks, and I'm sure everybody else has their own ideas too, but I know youth services always says they need more room, so it's kind of tough to expand upstairs. So I don't know, like moving youth services somewhere downstairs. That's probably something we could discuss next week, I would assume, or if the board agrees. One of the other things, and I know even one of the former trustees even thought of this too, where the admin offices are now, I could see those being kind of quickly converted to meeting rooms or meeting spaces, and then just moving admin up to upstairs to where youth services is. And they would need all that space, so we could either put tech services there or something else. It would just be all admin up there. It's too much space up there just for admin. And then what else did I have here? Then I know, which we've discussed plenty of times during the strategic plan process, was the family bathroom. How we would do that. Would we just need 1? Do we need 2?
I think those are
probably,
questions
yeah,
that the
so,
board will be asked by this
I mean,
company.
obviously, something at or near.
Like, what do you
Youth
envision
services,
if
yeah.
we stayed here? What is acceptable for our population?
And-
What do you think? I think
Yeah,
there's
some
gonna
of
be a.
some of these are existing related, but obviously like a family bathroom, that would be applicable to this site or possibly a future downtown site. And then the other stuff, obviously, that would, for a new building would be, you know, I mean, that would be a different animal, but probably the family bathroom would work here or there, so. So I mean, it's kind of just to get your, you know, kind of get your.
Food for thought.
Food for thought, get your mind going, and I don't know, if, you know, just to prepare and definitely review these, 2 documents that were just handed out, and then,
Everybody, if you, again, this was just to prompt you to please look at them. You should have both. And if
Sure.
you need anything else, please just email me and I will resupply.
yeah, I'm sorry, and then just like if you want to walk around with the director, I mean, obviously you probably walk around in the public spaces by yourself, but anything behind the scenes, either director or staff, and then, yeah, I mean, I would encourage even this September, go to the new elementary school open house, I think it's Saturday, the 21st. If you got time to look at some of that, that was interesting, and, I mean, if you really get aggressive, I suppose you, a neighboring library too, so.
Tom, want to say something?
Yeah, Trustee Duffy.
Could you send also that space assessment that
Again?
was done? Yeah,
The one from a few
probably
years.
sent it 4 times.
That's okay.
Maybe the 5th time, it's like,
You
yeah,
want
that would be
I'll-
helpful.
Sure.
The one from like-
Does anybody
Forward
else
you the
want
chain.
that? It's about 80 pages.
Can you just copy me on that too, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just
The
send
one
it to the
that's-
board
Why don't
again.
you send it
Yeah,
to
just
us?
Yes.
You're talking about the one from like a few years back that we did.
I believe so, yeah, the one,
No problem.
Any other comments or discussion? I mean, I mean, I know it's a lot of, obviously next week would be the one we have a lot of discussion.
And they're more versed in, I mean, I took notes from a conversation with him. They're more versed in pulling.
Yeah.
And they would probably go into a lot more detail about asking about what do you envision in terms of a family bathroom? How many family bathrooms would this library need? How many, you know, study spaces? And how large are they? How many should they seat? I mean, it's all brainstorming, and then we'll go from there. It's the first step.
Since they have experience with libraries, if like we throw out an idea, I don't know, when I threw out or some other idea that comes up, I mean, they pretty say, yeah, you probably can't do that, or, I mean, they have like experience where they would know.
Of course. And
Okay.
I mean, a lot of things are doable.
Or they might even say, we got.
It depends on if there's a consensus opinion on what you
Yeah.
want to do.
So he's gonna come speak to us, we're gonna give him our input, our
Absolutely.
ideas, and then he's gonna provide a report to us the following month, in October?
We will see, depending on what comes of the meeting, we'll see when. I envision it, yes, in sometime in October, with cost estimates
For both options?
both options, yeah. That's the plan at least. And they may come, there may be another meeting in the interim, depending on how this meeting
Let's see how
goes.
maybe, you know, maybe.
Or there
it's,
might be an email exchange where it's, you know, filling in some holes. We'll see.
so
We'll see how the meeting goes.
Any other question, comments, discussion?
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay, cool. Looking forward to next week, it should be a good discussion. Okay, so that takes care of that. Then, next item is 8D, and all that is to acknowledge a payment of earned and unused vacation time as required by the Illinois Wage Payment and Collection Act, 820 ILCS 115/5. Payment shall not exceed $3,982.16 to be paid to Josh Halper in September of 2019. So we just have to acknowledge that publicly in the meeting. No action is needed. Last item is trustee 80 is trustee reimbursements for meetings and conference and workshops. We need a board consensus regarding trustee conference attendance. There's been 2 forms in your packet for 2 trustees that would like to attend the ILA conference in Tinley Park on October 24th of this year. Is everybody in favor of the 2 trustees going? And you have their reimbursement. It's $175 for the.
Well, can it?
Go. Yeah.
So, okay, the total expenses for each person is $216.08, but the trustee reimbursement is $41.08, and that's for travel.
And
Right.
that- I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If it's approved, I see no reason why Liz and I can't travel together, so that it would be even less.
Okay, and as a reminder that the library does budget for conference attendance for trustees, but we do this so that the public understands how we're expending funds in that manner. And then next month, if there is a reimbursement, it needs to be approved by board again in terms of the dollar amount. So this is an estimated expense report, but we want to have, and the reason we do this too is so that should all 7 of you have wanted to go, we would had to have made some decisions that way, because we don't have a large expense report for board members. We couldn't afford that for every conference, so that's why we do it this way.
The registration fee is covered,
Yep.
right? And then it's just the reimbursement is the thing that has to come back to us later,
Yes,
right?
just the
I just wanted to make
reimbursement.
sure I was
Absolutely.
clear on that.
Right.
So is everybody in favor of the trustees?
Sure.
attending?
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing about it.
We will.
Yeah, so I guess next month then, well, it won't be back before so November meeting.
So if there's a consensus for the 2 board members to go, tomorrow morning I will apply for the tickets, the registration. That's what I need. I need the direction to do that.
Please.
And then you guys could give a little quick brief review in November, because it won't be by the October meeting.
Or like a 20-slide
Yeah.
PowerPoint.
I can
At
do
least 12 bullet points, but I expect Liz to be up there with.
And I'll
the
show my
laser
home
pointer.
movies at the same time.
So, all right, so there's a consensus.
Thank you.
So, all righty, so we're good with that. And then the next item is just opportunity for trustee comments. Start with we'll go this way, trustee Swiss.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I was at open house at Steeple Run Elementary School, I don't know, earlier this month for my kids, and I was really excited to see a table for the Lisle Library District sitting there when we walked in. I was like, oh! So I got really excited. They had bookmarks and other things for the families to pick up and information and all of that, and I thought that was great to have that there. Pretty much all the kids that go to Steeple Run, whether they live in Green Trails or in Peach Creek, like that area kind of over off of Ogden, there's that area over there, or Steeple Run, which is unincorporated Naperville, but Lisle Library District, they all go to Steeple Run. And so it's nice that our library was there to reach out to those families in the community. So I'd like to see that.
Okay, trustee Norton, or treasurer Norton.
Start the timer if I only have 5 minutes. I've got 3 things to talk about, in no particular order. I was very sad to learn of the passing of Nancy Wilson, and I didn't know her very well, and I regret that, but I was really grateful to have met her this year at the LLD anniversary event.
Memorial for Barbara Roque.
And Memorial for Barbara Roque,
Right.
there on the plaque on the wall. And I'm not fit to eulogize her, but I just wanted to say she made an incredible impression on me. She might be described as a founding mother of this institution and the Lisle Women's Club. I can't help myself but make the pun of patron saint as well. She was small in stature, but she had an enormous presence, and I felt it. And I really thought that she left me with one good piece of advice as a board member, and that was that there's nothing more important than serving the needs of the community. So always try to keep that in mind. That was one. Now I got the hard one out of the way. The other 2 are that I wanted to acknowledge that I support your decision with respect to the transition for the finance director to an outsourced position. I know that you had to make a lot of quick decisions and that it hasn't been the easiest, and I have empathy for that, and I also want to commend you for how smoothly it has gone in spite of the challenges.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So that was number 2. And then number 3 is, I thought that the committee chair of the facilities committee did a wonderful job at the last board meeting with her presentation. And I just, I wanted to acknowledge, and also I'm really pleased with the policy committees. You're just going through them, bulldozing them, cleansing them.
Oh, yeah.
And with respect to that, with the conversation that we had last time, I just wanted to make a recommendation that we look at policy 705, because I did. Because if we all remember, my stance at the last meeting, I really wanted to support going forward with Monaco, but I didn't feel comfortable with the ends justifying the means of us doing it by taking a very liberal position on the use of the emergency bullet point. It reads, in emergencies where immediate repairs or replacement of equipment owned by the library is necessary in order to permit the library to properly function, or when there has been a local disaster or catastrophe. And like I said, I just feel like that was a really liberal use of that phrasing. So I would encourage us to prepare for future needs like this one by expanding or adjusting that wording.
Thank you. I'll go next. Actually, I'll echo a lot what Jenny just said, is condolences to Nancy Wilson and her family. There's no service.
There will, as up to this point, there will be no public service.
Okay, no problem. And then I also agree. I support the decision to outsource the finance work. So, and like we've discussed, I would really encourage a lot of people to go to the open house on Saturday at the new elementary school. It's really cool. I haven't been in a school in a long time, and I was like, wow. I mean, high schools are one thing, but when you see like elementary schools, like, man, this stuff intimidates me. It's neat. I still, the no desk kind of put me on. I'm like, where's everybody sit? So, Trustee Bartelli, Vice President Bartelli.
Well, I second the outsourcing effort. I think staff did a great job researching that on short notice. And I'm looking forward to the presentation by CCS, is that correct?
Correct.
Very much so.
Now remember, it's not just a presentation, it's about
soliciting
soliciting
input.
input.
Yeah,
Soliciting
You'll be
input.
talking.
Next week, gotta bring your thinking.
Okay. That's it.
All right, Trustee Duffy.
I just echo everything you said. I think next week will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that give and take, and I think a conversation we've all really wanted to have. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
Trustee Larson.
I agree. I think it's gonna be really good to hear what they have to say, what everybody else really has to say. I think it will be good. The other thing is, and I don't know if it's the time to bring it up, I had seen a thing on the news probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago about, I think, and I would have to go back and get the name. It's called Rainbow Pals, I believe.
Rainbow Pals?
Pals, I believe it was on WGN, and it's about dogs that this group takes to different libraries in the area, and children can read to them. They're like therapy dogs or whatever. I have a friend that is in Utah, and they do that as well. But
We've had that here.
I think it's a really great idea, They showed the kids and they seem to be enjoying it. Yeah, I'd kind of like to see if we could get signed up for something like that. I don't know what the cost is or what the, their time frame is, whether it's.
We'll look into that particular group, but we've had that program here, very popular.
For the youth, just
Oh,
youth
yeah.
services?
It's
Yeah.
youth, yeah. Really cool.
Trustee Sullivan.
Couple of things. I just want to thank the director for creatively finding a way to continue to do our finance department. I think it'll be a very cost-effective solution. So thank you very much.
Alrighty. If there's nothing else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:56.